succeed in poultry farming. The common mistakes you must avoid if you want to succeed in poultry farming. If you want to know the mistakes pro farmers never make, you have to watch this video till the end. Here are highlighted the mistakes you must avoid if you want to be successful in the poultry business. Poultry farming is no doubt one of the most profitable business in the agricultural subsector, with several lucrative niches like meat production, egg production, breeding, feed production, and others. However, success in poultry farming is not a walk in the park. There are some basic mistakes you must avoid if you must succeed in poultry farming. I have here highlighted 8 major points or 8 major common mistakes you must avoid if you want to succeed in poultry farming. A costly mistake can cost a low mood in any poultry farmer. Number 1. Not investing in yourself and your workers. I will liken poultry farming to be a beehive. A beehive contains honey protected by loyal soldier bees. To get to the honey, you must learn how to do with the bees to avoid being stung. The same applies to poultry farming. If you think of profit, you should think of how to get to the profits and how to overcome the challenges that come along with it. If you don't, you will get stung by the challenges, which I will not wish you. So, you have to invest in yourself and your workers. Learn the rudiments, attend a workshop, go for training, get good and reliable mentor. Don't make the mistakes of starting a poultry farm without fundamental knowledge and training. Problems that stems from lack of training can wipe your flock away. I made the mistake sometime years back. While in my secondary school, my experience was terrible. Although in the beginning, I was smiling, making money as a young man. Subsequently, as time passed by, I began to experience unstoppable death in my poultry farm caused by so many unknown diseases and other factors because of my low experience. I later got stung by the ignorance. The disease almost wiped out the whole flock. I was lucky to have been under the care of my wonderful parents, who later supported me and restocked my pen. My dear prospective poultry farmers, if you want to succeed in this business, you must do the following. Make it mandatory to attend training, seminars, workshops to improve your knowledge in poultry farming. Do not be too stingy. If it involves paying money, pay and attend. There is no much you spend on training that is a waste. Attach yourself to an experienced poultry farmer. Be humble enough to help out on the farm. In that way, the farmer will be more open to teach you his or her secrets. There should be ongoing training for your farm workers also. Invest in them as well. You cannot do everything yourself alone. If you are knowledgeable in poultry farming, you should be able to identify some common poultry diseases. Buy and give the right medications, implement biosecurity measures on your farm. Manage your finance, market your product efficiently and effectively without hitches. Once you invest in yourself and your workers, other mistakes will be secondary. Number 2, buying your birds from poor hatcheries or roadside breeders. Buying your birds from a poor hatchery comes with so many challenges and problems that could be frustrating. These are some of the problems you could inherit from a poor hatchery or roadside breeders. Health issues. There are some vertical diseases from hen to chick that are associated with breeder flock, like reoviral arthritis that can be contracted from breeder parents to a lesser extent from one chick to another. Buying such infected birds could cause a huge disaster in your poultry farm. This normally happens if the parent breeds were not vaccinated against that disease. Therefore, you must buy your birds from reputable hatchery. Do background research on that hatchery before buying. Practice all in, all out operation. That is, you should not mix a new breed or a new batch of birds with existing ones. If you must add new birds to already existing ones, you should ensure you isolate them for some days to avoid or to make sure that they are sick-free or they are disease-free before introducing them to the other flock if it is necessary. Secondly, if you are new to poultry farming, you most probably do not know how to differentiate between bird species. Buying your birds from unknown breeder may imply that you are buying from a dishonest one. Most especially those of you that buy online. You buy from someone who do not even know. You only see the person's face on social media and pay your money. Most of them, if not majority of them, are not honest. For instance, once a dishonest breeder sees that you are a newbie, he or she may give you white cockerel instead of broilers you ordered, and white cockerel do not grow as fast as broilers. You may be giving white local turkey in place of imported turkey, popularly known as broiler turkey, that will remain in your poultry pen without growing as fast as you expected. Make adequate findings about your breeders before purchasing your birds from them. This way, you can have a certain level of assurance of the bird's quality before making the purchase. If possible, and most importantly, I will advise you as an expert in the field to buy your birds from close by registered veterinary shops or bird shops where you can go and see and verify things by yourself. The tricky part of this is that some of these problems may not be apparent at first time or initially until after some days and weeks. Make sure you do not buy from roadside. It can wipe out even the flock you already have. Ask an experienced farmer for advice. It works all the time. Number 3, poor hygiene in the poultry house and poor ventilation. Poor hygiene is a threat to poultry birds. Ensure you clean your poultry pen regularly. Decontaminate feeders and drinking channels with chlorine containing disinfectant. Also ensure your pen is well ventilated from both sides. That is the one we call cross ventilation for proper air movement. This will aid in reducing expired air and itching ammonia smell, which can cause stress and lead to disease exposure and low productivity. Most times I see farmers or new farmers or intending farmers asking numerous questions on Facebook. How do I stop my pen from smelling? How do I stop my flies from entering into my pen? If your pen is well constructed, if it is properly constructed, if it is professionally constructed, there should be cross ventilation, and this cross ventilation will give space for air to flow out in and out from your pen. You hardly have accumulation of ammonia on that pen, and you have fly-free pen. External agents can be potential disease carriers. High daily farm visitors threatens biosecurity measures. Proper hygiene can be achieved without implementing the necessary biosecurity measures in place. Make sure your biosecurity is fully intact. Make sure people who enter your farm are well disinfected, because even visitors, vehicles, and anything outside the poultry house is a potential disease carrier. Bear this in your mind. Consequently, ensure you provide a foot bath at the farm entry. Visitors should change to farm clothes and boots. This may seem too tasking or too difficult, but prevention is always better than cure. Number 4, not using a quality feed. In poultry farming, you can bear with me that 70 to 80% of your expenditure is incurred in the feed. So, with such an amount on feed, it will be unwise to neglect the quality of feed you give to your poultry birds. When you feed your birds with quality feed, they will produce quality egg and meat in return. What you give is what you always get. However, making the mistakes of not feeding your poultry birds properly or giving them chaff in order to maximize profit or to lessen your cost of feed can lead to reduction in the growth of your birds, egg production, which will finally affect your productivity. Toxins in poultry feed is a threat to your flock. Overstoring your feed can cause spoilage and can be infected by molds, which can affect the growth and health of your birds. Buy the quantity of feed that your birds can eat within, or they can finish within 2 weeks to 3 weeks at maximum, to avoid feed storage, feed spoilage and wastage. Subsequently, due to the high cost of feed or poultry feed, some producers have begun to adulterate their feed to make more profit. When you feed your birds with adulterated feed, your birds will be affected badly. Some feed manufacturers have started cutting corners. Instead of making the feed reach the way it is stated in the catalog, they reduce the value of the ingredients to make more profit. Most times, the best thing to do is to formulate your feed with the ingredients you get within your locality. This is advisable and this is encourageable. Moldy contents of the feed contains a lot of toxins that can trigger poultry diseases and destroy your flock. Number 5, not noticing a sick bird in time. You have to be very vigilant. You have to be your own vet. Even an external vet cannot always be in your farm. How much do you have to employ a vet in your poultry farm? Unless you are running a very big farm. If you are running a 500 birds farm and you employ a vet, external vet, you know how much it will cost you. The profit you make from the farm may not be enough to even pay his monthly salary. So you have to get knowledge of how to know and how to treat your birds. I can remember in the olden days while we were kids, hardly do our parents take us to hospital. My mother knows how to take care of at least minor sicknesses. In fact, I can't remember the last time she ever took me to the hospital. So she handled most of all those things by herself. So if you're a poultry farmer, you're supposed to know how to handle minor diseases and infections in your poultry farm. This is one of the worst mistakes you could ever make as a poultry farmer, without entering into the business without having a fundamental knowledge of poultry medication and health. A sick bird is a threat to the flock, and some diseases are fast spreading. Before you could say jack, all your poultry birds are already infected and all died. So you must be alert, observant, and inquisitive to the activities of your birds. Nevertheless, there are some major signs to spot out a sick bird among your flock. If I fail to give you some of these signs, I have not done you a favor. In fact, this particular content for me will be useless if I fail to do that. While some of these diseases or some of these signs are specific to a group of poultry birds And this is another particular poultry birds also have their own different diseases that are peculiar to that particular flock or particular group of birds. For broilers, they have peculiar diseases that are meant for broilers. For turkeys, they have peculiar diseases that are meant for turkeys. Guinea fowl, dog, and geese have their own also. But I cannot go in detail. Rather, I will create another content that will be tagged. What you don't know may be killing your birds. Watch out for that particular content. It will come out very soon. And in that content, I will analyze common diseases in poultry birds and medication and their remedies. Let's continue. If I am using a deep litter system, one method I normally use is to spot a bird or a sick bird. When I enter the pen and move towards the flock, I expect the birds to move away from me. If they are too hungry, I expect them to be running after me. So if you see any bird while others are moving closer to you or running away from you, and that bird remains static, bending the head down or closing the eyes, sleeping while standing, we call them sleeping on duty. My dear, that bird is almost gone. Any bird that remains still and doesn't move away, sometimes something is wrong with that particular bird. And such bird or birds have to be examined by checking the crop for feed to ensure the bird is feeding, by checking the eyes and nostrils for any liquid and the vent for any pool stain. A sick chicken with a dropped wing and tail, most of the times, you will be left alone to look out for these signs, because your veterinarian may not always be available to attend to your flock. So you have to do something by yourself. Take the bull by the horn. My dear, the following are some common signs of an illness in a sick bird. The most common signs of illness in a sick bird are the following. Not eating well. Going off feed is a tell sign of illness in any animal, not only poultry bird. Watery eye or nose. Rasping when breathing, sneezing or coughing. Swelling around the eyes, dropping wings and tails. Heavy or strained breathing. Decrease in egg production. Straining, acting lethargic, ruffled feathers. Pale or purple comb and wattles, cloudy, leaky, swollen or watery eyes, sneezing, wheezing or coughing, swollen legs and foot, diarrhea, a rasping sick chicken with a swollen eye, change of poultry poo or poultry droppings, having different colors, red, milk white, watery poo, and rest of them. Identifying a sick bird is not just enough. You have to quarantine. Take care of the bird until its recovery. And most importantly, vaccinate the rest of the flock using a standard vaccination schedule guide. Number 6, poor spacing and overcrowding. This is a common mistake beginners make in poultry farming. They are usually overwhelmed by the prospect and anxiety of owning a poultry farm that they forget to provide the necessary space for optimal growth. Sometimes, you make provisions for space based on the present size without considering the future growth of that particular bird. Overcrowding can lead to strays, cannibalism, feather pecking, and other issues. The floor space requirement of broilers varies depending on their body weight at the time of marketing, housing system, marketing age, and ambient temperature. Overcrowded layer span could lead to the quick spread of diseases and other vices like cannibalism. Traditionally, a flock of broilers consists of 20,000 birds in a grow-out house that measures 40 feet long and 40 feet wide, thus providing an area of about 16,000 square feet or 1/10 of a square foot per bed. As the bird grow older, they grow into this space. The minimum spacing standard is 2 to 3 square feet per bed. Therefore, you should always put future project into consideration while making plans for the pen space. Number 7, not financially buoyant. Don't start a poultry farm without having a cost analysis report and without doing a feasibility study. Don't start a poultry farm with the hope that somebody is owing you, that you will get the money before the pen or before the birds start demanding higher feed. Don't start a poultry farm that you are a businessman, that you intend to make 1 million naira or $1 million tomorrow or next tomorrow. Don't start a poultry farm because your in-law have promised to give you money, or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend have promised you money. You must make sure that money is already at hand, is intact in your account. You have to keep the resources on the ground to fund your farming venture from start to finish. This will save you from being stranded and from undeserved embarrassment. Endeavor to have other sources of income to cater for your expenditure at the beginning. Lack of cost analysis can get a farmer stranded and disgraced. To be successful in the poultry farming business, you should have enough money to purchase feed, drugs, and so many other things that may arise in the course of your poultry rearing. You can never at the beginning quantify everything because it is a livestock. Anything can happen during the process. Note, over 70% of your expenditure are on feed. I always say this. A special budget should be made for it, for this purpose. In fact, keep your budget up to 80%. You can as well learn how to formulate your own poultry feed and save costs. Number 8, not choosing the right breed. In starting a poultry farm, you should select a breed that will suit not only your intended purpose but as well as your lifestyle. However, we have several types of breeds for different purposes. For example, we have the broiler breed for meat production, the layers for egg production. We have the dual purpose like the cockerel, noiler, and the rest of them for egg and meat production. If you are not financially stable, don't go for layers because it requires a lot of money to grow them to a point of laying before they start paying you back. The return of investment is usually slow when compared to other broilers. However, within these breeds are sub-breeds. For example, in Nigeria, we have several types of broiler breeds. The Conies, the Conies Cross, we have the Marshall, we have the Mayor, and the rest of them. The white broiler grows very fast, but is susceptible to diseases and is suitable for an intensive system or cage system. While the red broiler grows slower, but more resistant to diseases and is suitable for an extensive system, free range. So ensure to choose a breed suitable for your purpose. Red broiler on semi-intensive system. Besides, some of these breeds has inherited vices and diseases which can affect their development. It is left for you to choose the breed that you can manage effectively and efficiently. Number 9, poor brooding methodology. You must use the required temperature for each state of your poultry bed. Do not join birds of different ages same place because they do not need the same temperature. For this purpose, I will run another content in this particular channel that has to do with brooding. There you will know different stages of brooding and temperature required for each of the stages from day 1 till your birds come out of the brooding house. Keep watch of this particular topic. This is because they need different level of brooding management and temperature. If you can keep all these factors into watch and consideration, in fact, you are good to go in your poultry business and you will make it. Thank you very much for watching. If by now you have not subscribed, do that now to make sure you benefit from all these content I'm mentioning here that are already uploading. Once again, I thank you and I say remain blessed till the next content. This is the Poultry Side Television.